you can screw it up in a second. Modern transitional. Wow, Andy. Look has really grown on me. Do you love it or hate it? I think I could
Depends on
do
where it's
without
at, right?
above the fireplace. I think I could do without, but I like the rest of it.
Me being totally honest with you, anytime they get crazy with their wood where it's not horizontal or vertical, it actually visually bothers me. That was even back when it was cool. You know what I mean? Like you'd have the cabin and they do the cedar siding at an angle, and I'm like,
So Andy, how about this? So
okay.
you have a modern transitional type house. You're going over in which to sell it. And here's the thing is that there's a certain buyer that loves that. So do you prepare it as what it was meant to be, or try to include the most amount of people out there to be able to kind of like, okay, bring that picture up again next. So if I look at this and I say, okay, hey, this is cool, and everything else I think looks good, and I just go in and say, hey, take down that wall with all that wood. Do you do that or do you not do that because you're trying to stay with the flavor of what that house is?
I might even ask someone if it really bothered me because it is such a focal point of that house. Would you have it painted, for an example? And that seems to be the most popular alternative when they don't like something that's wood. They have it painted. That's something that neutralizes it, make it definitely look different. Again, it to me personally, it's the lines. It's the angle of the lines that is something that throws me off a little bit. If it was straight up and down, shiplap, that was kind of the cool thing a couple years ago. I would leave it, but I'd try to give it the shiplap, even though it's older, 2 years old, out of style, but cool.
That's what they were trying to create when they built this era of homes. And so it's a real interesting thing and how you suggest to a client what to do, because the money, you're going to get the most money from someone that loves that everything about it. So that's from the design, and that design might also be incorporated into the exterior of the home as well, at least some pieces of it. And so you got to be careful from a realtor standpoint, and I think from a consumer standpoint, if I had original type house, I would have more than one realtor be coming over too, and just try to get their opinions and see what the best route in which to go is, and to see if they know, I mean, what I just talked about. I mean, do they understand that type of design is all about? It's a very interesting, you can screw it up in a second.
Our team has a go-to color consultant. They're kind of on point with trends. Their interior decorator team that has someone that all they do is analyze colors and what works well with other colors. That's a consultation fee that if I was confused for a customer as to which way to go, I think the most important thing as a real estate agent is this. I don't have to know everything, but I have to know what doesn't work. And so if I know something doesn't work, that's where I'll actually bring in another consultant or an expert to help as part of our team to help guide that seller, because you're doing yourself a disservice. If all of a sudden we're going into this house and somebody says, my God, that's going to be a $10,000 project to fix that fireplace, you don't want somebody walking into that house to have to worry about that project. You want to either have it redecorated, repurposed, or, like I said, unfortunately cleaned up sometimes. Sometimes you might want to just take that paneling down to take that confusion away, sheetrock up the front of that fireplace, but that could cost you $3-4 grand. You know what I mean? So you just don't know until you get there.
I think that leads us into kind of with the whole what is happening in 2023. And I think one of the interesting things, and I heard this, I think it was yesterday or the day before, about the whole white on white gray stuff is moving on from Minnesota, just from the fact that it doesn't really work in the winter, and we definitely have winter here. And so there's a lot more softer beigey type things that are back on 2023.